What's up, guys? Today I'm going to answer questions that I got about supplements on my Instagram account. Got a whole bunch of them. I got a good amount of them here. But this should give you a kind of a good idea of the approach that we take with supplements in general. There's going to be some really good nuggets, really good takeaways in here. So cruise through these answers and kind of pay attention. Let me start off by clarifying that I do try to make a big point of talking about, whether I'm on a call with someone who's interested in my program where we help people lower their viral load, get their energy back, get their life back, and seeing if they're a fit for that program, or, just the content that I put out. I'm trying to put a big emphasis on like clearing things up, like food first. Hardly anyone is maxing out their benefits with food. And a lot of people are shooting themselves in the foot with foods, and then they're just like hoping more supplements are going to fix the problem. So supplements are great. I love supplements. I'll take supplements every day of my life as long as I can. But don't fool yourself into thinking that the answer to all your problems lies in the supplements. They are a great addition if you're doing the right things with food, but they are not a panacea. They are not a magic Band-Aid for chronic health issues. I mean, that would be sweet if they were. That would be great, but that's not how it works. And disclaimer, none of this don't take any of this as advice of what you should do. This is general informational purposes. Work with your practitioner. Be smart about this stuff. Yes, supplements are they're inherently safe, especially compared to all the other things that people put in their bodies. But there are unique situations. There are things that need to be taken into account. So you're going to have to take this information back to whoever you're working with, if you're not working with me or in my program, and kind of figure out what the best thing is to do for you here. If you're interested in getting a glimpse into my program and maybe having a discussion to see if you're a good fit for what I do, I'll drop a link in the description beneath this video, and that'll take you to my website with more information on what I do and how I help people all over the world heal and reverse chronic health issues. Very rewarding work. And if now's the right time, if you're ready to reclaim your health, I'd be happy to potentially work with you on it. So, all right, let's get into this. First question, how often can I take California poppy? You can take that daily. You can take it daily. It's not one that you need to take a break from. Even supplements that you do need to take a break from, like a golden seal or a licorice root, it's not that anything bad happens if you don't take a break from them. It's just that they start to lose their efficacy. They start to kind of dim. Their effect can start to dim. So California poppy, if that's kind of a funny sounding name of a supplement, yeah, well done, the poppy. This supplement is used to help with pain relief. So people who are dealing with viral inflammation causing pain, trigeminal neuralgia, neuropathy, sciatica, just mystery aches and pains in general, California poppy is a wonderful supplement. It's also good because it helps relax the body. Sometimes we'll bring this in to help with sleep as well. But you can take this daily. It's safe. All right, next question. Is creatine a safe/good supplement? If not, is there an alternative? Creatine is a huge, I'm guessing there's a lot of money behind marketing creatine right now because you see it everywhere. And they have some like big names behind it promoting it, which I was shocked to see that. So I think somebody or some people are pouring quite a bit of money into trying to convince everyone that everyone needs to be taking creatine. So is it safe? No, I don't think so. It's not safe. It can be hard on your kidneys. Also, it's how they actually manufacture, how they, it's not how they get the creatine in the supplement bottle is not by like, there's not a plant where they, take it from the plant and manipulate it and put it into a supplement form. It's a synthetic process. So it's not natural, which, okay, it's not the end of the world in and of itself, but it's something to think about, something to consider, even though, everyone's saying like, oh, you got to have your muscle mass up. And, if you build your muscle, that equals longevity. It doesn't, by the way. And, if you have brain fog or you feel forgetful, like you got to have creatine because it's the best thing on earth for brain health. Those are just not true. Those are not true. And again, this goes back to the whole concept of like everyone who's offering a solution for these things. Why don't we ask all these people, well, what's the root cause of why somebody's brain function would decrease? Like, can you tell me that? No, they just are going to throw out a bunch of the same old talking points that have been going around for decades by people who don't really know. They're going to say like, oh, it's too much sugar or this or that, but none of them are real answers. None of them actually hold up to scrutiny when you try to poke holes in those theories. It's easy to poke holes in those theories, and there's not much behind them backing them up. So an alternative, if you're looking at this as like a brain supplement, Celery Force by Vimergy is a great alternative. That's a great supplement that strengthens neurotransmitters, but that's what you want to focus on. You want to focus on supplements that enhance and strengthen your neurotransmitter chemicals in your brain. That's going to give you better brain function. GABA is another one. Melatonin's another one. And then also, of course, you want to do things that you want to take away what actually can lead to dampened or decreased neurotransmitter function in the first place, right? So we want to go antiviral. We want to lower the viral load. That's huge in just about everything. You want to lower the viral load. So supplements there, those can be useful. You want to pull out heavy metals. Heavy metals can interfere with neurological signaling in the brain. So we want to be on supplements that pull those out as well. So the creatine, that's a pass. That is a hard pass. All right. How much B12 to take daily? You can take quite a bit. Quite a bit. There's no like, I think if anything, honestly, if you're taking a good quality B12 supplement, your upper limit's probably going to be your wallet, because it's not the cheapest supplement in the world to get a high quality one that actually works. And, the traditional dosages can go, like 6 dropperfuls of that, up to 6 dropperfuls of that a day. And sometimes you can go through shorter periods of time where you're doing more than that in a day. So it depends on what your goals are, what your situation is, but it is a wonderful supplement. We'll talk a lot more about B12 later. Which supplement would you recommend for someone with hypo and hyperthyroid? Great question. Love it. But it goes back to, okay, well, what are we trying to do? Are we trying to just do like maybe eat one Brazil nut a day and take a selenium and hope that fixes our thyroid? We all know that's never going to do anything. So why don't we'll peel back one layer here and say, well, what causes hypo and hyperthyroid? Epstein-Barr virus. So how is it that somebody would have each of these? Well, certain strains of EBV will cause hypo-functioning thyroid, and other strains will cause hyper-functioning thyroid. And you can have, and lots of people do have, multiple strains of Epstein-Barr. If you have one of each of those make it to the thyroid in stage 3, you can flip back and forth between hypo and hyperthyroid. So what do we want to do? We actually want to do antiviral supplements. There's a ton of really good antivirals. Let's go with lemon balm here. That's a nice, powerful, but gentle antiviral herb that is great for thyroid, great for all things viral related. That's a good one. Zinc is another good one. Vitamin C, those are all good. But again, it goes back to when we think about supplements, ideally you'll try to take it to a root cause level. Which supplements should you not mix together with others and take separately? So I think this person is probably taking Vimergy supplements, which a lot of them are liquid. So generally how I do it is if I have like several herbal supplements, so let's say I have lemon balm, cat's claw, golden seal, nettle, licorice, those herbals, yeah, mix them all together in one little shot glass, maybe even with a little bit of water, drink it like that. That's totally fine. I always take my B12 separately, sublingual, underneath the tongue. Then I also take my zinc separately as well. Is anything bad going to happen if you mix them? No. Are you going to miss out on some benefit? Maybe. But is it still better? Like if your only option was to take all your supplements together at the same time, is that better than not taking them? Yes. Yeah, absolutely. How to take lemon balm for insomnia, anxiety, and withdrawal after stopping schizophrenia meds. Hope you're all right. That's kind of heavy. And hopefully you're working with a doc to make sure everything is going as it should. But in theory, let's assume like best case, everything's going smoothly. And, this is everything's happening for the better each step of the way. You're going to want to ideally probably take some pretty high doses of lemon balm, and you can kind of sprinkle that sporadically throughout the day. And in terms of dosaging, I should have said this at the beginning, but there's no one size fits all. And me, with my background in functional medicine, I know I'm used to like, we learn it like, oh, it's X amount of this supplement and X amount of this supplement. Like that's the exact amount that's going to work for everyone. Like that's ridiculous. That's not how any of this happens. So a general rule of thumb that I use is like, if you just want like a kind of maintenance base level dose and you just take the recommended serving that's on the back of the label of the supplement, that's like a kind of baseline. There are lots of instances and occasions where we go much, much higher than that baseline, sometimes for shorter periods of time, sometimes for longer periods of times. But it's not really fair of me to sit here and like say it's X amount for this. Like there's too many factors basically that go into doing something like that. And sometimes it is a matter of like, well, try this amount and then, okay, well, do we need to bump up from there? Can we pull back? So it's nothing like that is set in stone. But to get these kind of like calmative effects of lemon balm, yeah, you can go pretty high several times throughout the day. Yeah. But again, hoping everything is going well for you and hoping you're working with someone to make sure it's going well. Is wild blueberry powder as effective as fresh or frozen wild blueberries? Yes. And this is great. Vimergy makes a wild blueberry powder that is the correct strain or variety, because you always want the variety of wild blueberries. I'm not even going to try to remember how to pronounce it. That is grown in North America. It's the first word starts with a V, second word starts with an A, and it's a very scientific variety of the wild blueberries that you can only get in North America. So if you're not in North America, chances are you're not going to be able to get fresh wild blueberries that are that correct strain. So thankfully, Vimergy is available in lots of parts of the world, and you can get this powder and you can use that in the heavy metal detox smoothie. And that is as effective as the actual wild blueberries. Now, I will use the frozen ones because it just makes a nice smoothie, and I like that, and I like eating them whole, and I think they taste fantastic. But in a pinch, yeah, doing the powder. What supplement brands besides Vimergy are safe and use clean ingredients? So Vimergy, if you're not aware, is in the medical medium world. All of this is medical medium info. And then I'm kind of sharing my insight of how I use supplements and what my experience has been with them over the years. But Vimergy has the reputation of being the cleanest supplement company. So one thing you can do if you want to be really sure is you can go through their catalog online and you can see what they use as other ingredients, as fillers, and what they put in their supplements, and more importantly, probably what they don't put in their supplements. And you can kind of cross-reference if you're looking at another supplement company and see like, oh, well, this company uses magnesium stearate, but I don't see that in anything on Vimergy. So maybe that's not the best for me. Or, okay, I see silicon dioxide, but Vimergy brands, not one of their supplements is going to have silicon dioxide. So maybe that's something that I should avoid. There's a couple out there. For liquid tinctures, there's Nature's Answer, Hawaii Farm. Those are generally clean. Pure Encapsulation still has some clean ingredient supplements. So you just kind of have to, it's better to know what you're looking for and then kind of go off that, because I can't sit here and tell you like every single supplement in a certain brand is always going to be clean, because who knows? All right, what are the best daily supplements for healthy, active people? That's awesome. You're healthy and you're active. Good. You're just out there playing pickleball, probably. No symptoms. That's amazing. I love to hear it. So like a good foundation, top three, there's six-ish kind of supplements, and I'll tell you why it's ish. But like the three tried and true, like B12, zinc, and vitamin C. Those should be part of everyone's daily routine in the right qualities or the right varieties of those. Those support the immune system, support the adrenal glands, support your liver, support your nervous system. And those areas are going to always need help. They're always going to need help. So those should just be like non-negotiables. And then the other three are part of what's called the medical medium heavy metal detox smoothie. What it does is in the name. But spirulina, barley grass juice powder, and then Atlantic Dulse. And Atlantic Dulse, you might not consider that a supplement. You can get it as like a liquid tincture, but you can also get like the flakes. So it could be considered a food there. But that's kind of like the baseline. And then there's so many more that have so much more benefit that can come after that. Supplements for post-menopause. Cool. Great question. You hit menopause. Congrats. That actually means like you're doing better. Believe it or not. And if it doesn't look like that, we'll talk about why that is. But post-menopause for women, the body functions, it functions better, and there's less stress, we'll say, on the body. But I get what the gist of this question probably was. Is probably someone maybe dealing with like hot flashes, mood swings, weight gains, all those things that get blamed on menopause. Here's the distinction. All those things are not from the process of the female body going through menopause. They get blamed on that, but that's not what they're actually from. They're actually from the liver being congested and chronic low-grade viral activity from something like Epstein-Barr. So really what you want to load up on antiviral supplements and liver supplements. Now, this is one, especially when it comes to liver, where, yeah, there are lots of supplements that are good for the liver. But you want to get that food part really dialed in for the liver. Because you can lift such a heavy burden off your liver by doing the right things with foods. That being said, things like nettle, Schisandra berry, raspberry leaf tea, those are all going to be helpful here. But I think it is important, and it is worth reiterating, like, it's not menopause. It's not your hormones. Anytime you're inclined to like blame your body or a function of your body for any reason you don't feel good, we should just cut that thought off and say, no, my body's My body's pretty chill. But things get into my body that do cause lots of problems, and that's what needs our attention. We got to stop blaming the body and just normal bodily processes for our health issues. That's not, number one, it's not true. It's not fair, and it's just going to keep holding you back. All right, what's the best vitamin C? That would be the Micro C by Vimergy. It's a poem there. Yeah, other vitamin C's can be rough, little rough on the intestinal tract. Micro C is the most gentle form. Liposomal C got popular quite maybe 2 decades ago or something. So that's vitamin C mixed with fat, because people are confused and think like that fat is going to help with absorption. It's actually the opposite. It actually is going to block absorption. So that Micro C, and you can get that as a powder or a capsule. Is zeolite good? No, it is not good. It is not useful. It used to be recommended because certain forms of zeolite can pull some heavy metals out of the intestinal tract. But the way it's manufactured now, they mix the forms that are decent with forms that are just totally useless and actually kind of clog things up in your gut. And so now if you get any zeolite, it's a net negative. And if you're looking for a binder, most people take this because they're into that. Like, I need a good binder to get the toxins out. None of those things work. The charcoal, the bentonite clay, it's all garbage. It all does bad things to your body. And how messed up is that? You're putting in the effort, you're spending your money, you're thinking you're doing the right things, and then come to find out, like, oh, this was actually blocking toxins from leaving my body. Because that's what they do. They block toxins actually from leaving your body. It's messed up, but that's the reality. So if you're someone who's like looking for binders or looking to get rid of heavy metals, you want to look into the heavy metal detox smoothie. And you have to understand that the right foods, plant foods, have the binders. Like the pectin in red apples or wild blueberries, that's what actually grabs onto the toxins and the heavy metals and actually pulls them out of the body. So, I mean, if you think about it, is eating charcoal, is that eating clay? Does that really sound like something that's going to be a long-term solution? No. What to take for frequent urination for a male in their 30s? A lot going on there, and I don't have any context besides this question. So let's say, maybe, do you have prostatitis? Do you have inflammation there? Have you had that checked? Like, why are you urinating a lot? Like, that would be very good to understand and know. But we'll assume that there's some inflammation in the prostate. A couple supplements that are very good for that. Zinc is one, because there's a pathogen in the prostate if there's prostatitis. And melatonin is the other. Melatonin, that everyone thinks is just for sleep, has so many other benefits. It's crazy. It's a really cool supplement. But it's great for prostate health. So those would be two of the first ones that I look into there. But yeah, maybe you have an underlying pathogen that needs addressed. Are black cumin seed oil capsules any good? No, these are so hyped. I mean, these seem to have more of like a grassroots movement behind them. But no, there's no oil that you're going to need that's going to be part of your long-term solution to healing a chronic health issue. Oil of oregano is great. I like it in acute situations. I don't like taking it for long periods. Same with this. It's so overhyped. And look, two things can be true. If you look at coconut oil, olive oil, avocado oil, black cumin seed oil, whatever oil you want, two things can be true. They can have healthy components in there, and it's just not useful. Remember, any type of oil clogs things up. And I know it's a small amount. So if you're doing everything else right, like that's not going to be a hindrance, right? If you're doing the food part right, that's not going to be a big hindrance, but it's just not needed. There are so many other supplements that you could be taking in place of black cumin seed that actually could help you long term. I think a lot of people's expectations with supplements, even though logically I can sit here and be like, look, like ideally, if we're thinking about your health in the future, ideally you'll start to think of supplements as a long-term play, not something that's always supposed to like make you feel good or make you feel great, like when you're taking them in the moment. And people would be like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. But still, people don't have patience and they don't have a plan. And when you don't have patience and you don't have a plan, you're going to fall prey to like all these trends and all these fads of like, oh, there's anti-inflammatory properties in black cumin seed. Like, let me go do that. And just, there's so many ways people get pulled off track. That's why I love my program. We get to mold you, help you understand all the ins and outs. So you're not wasting time. You're not wasting your money. And you can build such a solid foundation. Again, that link to apply for the program is in the description. It's great. Check it out. Is lion's mane a good supplement? Yeah, sure. It's got some neurological benefits. I don't mess with it for some reason. I don't know. I think it's fine. It's just not something that I recommend. I don't think I've ever recommended it. But yeah, I'm not saying it's bad, and I do think it has some benefits. It's another one that's very, very popular right now. Very, very popular. And again, it's one that promises a quick solution or a quick fix. And there's a downside to that, right? Because is lion's mane going to like, if someone's taking it for like mental acuity, mental sharpness, brain fog type situation, is just taking lion's mane be like a solution? Even if like, let's say they feel better when they take it, is that going to restore their neurotransmitters back to full health? No, there's all these other components that need to happen. So it kind of can prevent you from like doing the actual work that needs to be done, which I get not everyone's ready to do all that work. Even though it's worth it, it's the best thing you can do for yourself and your loved ones is to actually, do the right things to get yourself healthy. But I will say that yes, lion's mane is a good supplement. Thoughts on moringa? Overhyped, useless. Well, I'll say there are much better ones. Spirulina being the one you want to swap that for. Spirulina has actually does what a lot of these sea mosses and moringas say they're going to do. Spirulina actually does that. So again, a lot of marketing with moringa right now. You don't need it. You're going to be okay without it. Good supplement for vestibular migraine. Cool. Good question. So where do we want to go here? Do we want to just kind of bring the inflammation down? Do we want to ponder what the root cause of the migraine is? Where do we want to go? So if we just want to bring the inflammation down, maybe we do curcumin or California poppy, like we mentioned earlier. Or we want to kind of relax some of the nerves and we do a magnesium glycinate. We could do that. Or are we thinking that maybe this migraine pattern is actually coming from viral inflammation of some of the cranial nerves? So maybe there's a hidden shingles virus infection. Remember that there are lots of strains of the shingles virus that don't produce any rashes. So you're never going to know that you have it other than, it can produce a lot of neck, head, shoulder symptoms, sciatica, neuropathy, things like that. So maybe we want to go for some propolis. Propolis is wonderful against the shingles virus. Or do we want to do lemon balm, which is great at clearing off viral debris from the cranial nerves? Lots of different ways to go there. Look at that. How much propolis can I take daily? This is another one you can take daily. You don't need to take a break from this. And sometimes we go pretty high dosages for short amounts of time. You sprinkle in high dosages several times throughout the day for several days at a time. And then you go back to kind of a more of a baseline dose. So if someone's asking, like, what's the safe upper limit? On a lot of these, you might get some mild discomfort if you're just drinking bottles of this stuff. I would never recommend doing that, but you shouldn't do that. But how much propolis can I take daily? I don't know. I don't, there's no context here. It's a hard question. I'm trying to give like a real answer, but probably more than most people would think is the answer I'm going to go with, but be smart about it. Can I take 10 micro C in one day? Yeah. Oh yeah. So that works out to be about 5 grams of vitamin C, which is solid. That's a good amount of vitamin C. You can go much higher than that too. And people do. Sometimes you can run into some bowel discomfort even with micro C. But that's going to be about the worst. And high doses of micro C can be very, very beneficial. Strengthens your white blood cells. Helps your immune system. It's antiviral. And if everyone would just get really good at learning how to lower their viral load, everyone would be so much better off. It's crazy. Like, that's such a key component. That's such a key thing. What's the best way to take supplements? Holy shoot. And when? So what's the best way to take supplements and when to take them? So what's the best way? Okay. The best way to take supplements is away from fats, away from heavier foods, and with a natural sugar source. So I take my morning ones, I take them at the same time as my heavy metal detox smoothie, which has got bananas, it's got wild blueberries in there, so it's got a ton of healthy sugars because sugar helps absorption. Sugar triggers insulin, which unlocks the cells so that all those good vitamins, minerals, and nutrients you're taking as a supplement actually get into cells and actually get to where they need to go. Isn't that funny? As much as everyone loves to shit on sugar, if you don't have that, it doesn't matter what supplements you're taking, you're not getting a lot of that into your cells. It's not doing you any good. So this is true even for those ADEK fat-soluble supplements. It's not how it works. You should take them with sugar. Most of those, you don't really need to take anyway. But so that's the best way to take supplements is nearby sugar for max absorption. When's the best time to take supplements? It depends. I mean, sometimes you might be going through a phase where you're taking a certain supplement 3 times a day or maybe even more. It has to fit your routine. So like there are certain supplements that can have a calmative effect, like ashwagandha, GABA, even lemon balm, even magnesium glycinate. So if you're sensitive to that, like obviously you might not want to take that during a time of the day where it's not going to behoove you to be super calm and relaxed if you have a lot of work to get done or you need to have your energy more up. Like you probably don't want to take it then. So you might want to take those closer to night if you're sensitive to that. I take all mine in the morning. It's just part of my routine. It works out well. I have them all set up. So I'm not going to forget about them. They're in a place where I'm going to see them, and I've been doing it for so long. It's just like breathing. I don't have to think about it. But you need to set them up somewhere where if it feels difficult to take supplements, you just need to figure out how to remove any barriers. So it doesn't matter. Like if the only time you can take supplements it doesn't matter when that time is. It's much better. You're going to be much better off just taking the supplements whenever you can take them than like stressing about they have to be at a certain time. And if they're not at that certain time, I'm not going to get the benefit. That's not going to do you any good. All right, best supplements for brain fog. We kind of talked about this with the creatine question earlier. But so first layer, strengthening neurotransmitters. So things like celery force, GABA, melatonin. Those are great for strengthening neurotransmitters. And then if we peel back some layers, we want to do antiviral supplements, zinc, vitamin C. There's a whole bunch of herbs that are great for that. And then we want to do supplements that remove heavy metals because those can greatly interfere with brain processing and function. So the heavy metal detox smoothie ingredients are all going to be beneficial there. But celery force is a big one that doesn't get a whole lot of attention. Great for the neurotransmitters. Are B12, vitamin E, vitamin C, magnesium, and selenium bad for people with lupus? No. I mean, are you having a reaction when you take one of these supplements? Because you could be taking a great supplement and maybe just due to what's going on inside of your body with viral load and toxic load, you could have a not so pleasant reaction to even a healthy food or a healthy supplement. That's possible. But let's go back. What is lupus? What causes lupus? Lupus is caused by the Epstein-Barr virus. Are you seeing a pattern here? Epstein-Barr is behind a whole lot of chronic health issues and autoimmune conditions. So no, all these things, I mean, vitamin E, we don't need it. All these things are good. It's possible you're taking maybe a not clean version of one of these supplements that has some kind of gnarly extra ingredients or filler ingredients. That could be causing some discomfort. So it's worth it to get clean ingredients, especially if you don't have room to mess around and you have you think you're having a reaction to a supplement. You might want to play with the dosages, and you want to get a clean version of these. What supplements are most important if cost is a huge factor? Well, I mean, some supplements are better than none. So whatever you can do is going to, it's going to be, it's going to have a positive impact. But if we get back to a previous question, like just foundational level, the hierarchy is B12, zinc, vitamin C. Right there. That's kind of like, if we're doing supplements, like let's do those at least. If cost is a huge factor, and like maybe you take a little less than what's on the label. That's okay. There's still some benefit there. So if you need to stretch it, make it last longer, you can do that. Thoughts on candida supplements? Garbage. Terrible, useless. But I mean, they're usually a blend of lots of different things, and sometimes they do have like some beneficial herbs in there, which is great. But candida is not a root cause of anything. Candida is a beneficial fungus that's in the body, and if somebody did truly have a candida overgrowth, it's just because the body is using that as a defense mechanism against a true root cause like strep bacteria. So you really want to address the strep bacteria. with a good antibacterial. And there's lots of those. Pretty much all the herbs are going to be antiviral and antibacterial. I will say golden seal. That's my favorite antibacterial. I love that one. But candida in theory, candida, leaky gut, parasites, forget about all that stuff. You're just going to waste your time. You're going to waste your time. Is there a supplement to help with lymphatic drainage? Zinc. You want to be on zinc, a good quality zinc. Lymphatic, if your lymph system, if you have a notion that your lymphatic system needs some help, you should understand why that is. And the reason why is because your liver is filled to the brim. Your liver has hit max capacity. It can't handle all the garbage it's up against. And then the lymphatic system gets called upon, that junk starts to spill over into the lymphatic system. And the lymphatic system is not meant to handle that amount of junk for that long of a period of time. So yeah, the lymphatic system definitely can get involved, but really you want to learn how to take care of your liver. Zinc, great place to start. Why did ashwagandha raise my husband's liver enzymes? I chuckled when I read this question because I read it in a voice that was like accusing me, even though I don't know who wrote this. I got a chuckle out of that. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it was not from ashwagandha. Liver enzymes get elevated all the time, and they can even fluctuate test to test. But there's no mechanism by which ashwagandha elevates liver enzymes. Now, if somebody had something where it was like, well, I have all this data of testing before someone started ashwagandha and all the liver enzymes were normal, and then literally the only thing that changed in someone's life was, I'm not even going to use this example because that's impossible. So here's something to think about. Why did your husband start using ashwagandha in the first place? People don't just start taking it for absolutely no reason. They're either trying to de-stress, they want some type of adrenal support, something like that. So, I mean, that alone is a signal that there was some issue at play before that. Ashwagandha, very safe. It's okay. You're going to have to be a better detective and kind of figure out what else is going on here, because of all the things that has, happened inside your husband's body, ashwagandha is not the problem, right? There's viral activity, bacterial activity, there's toxins. And so even though it may feel like, well, he started taking ashwagandha and then we got this blood test and then I saw this thing online, like that's not the reality. So I hope it works out though. What will help my eczema flare? I don't think there's a good I've never come across anything that's like a pretty quick, like I was having an eczema flare and then I took this supplement and really, which you can get that with some conditions and symptoms and supplements. That can happen. I've not seen that with eczema, psoriasis, things like that. That being said, barley grass juice powder is a great source of SOD, super oxide dismutase, which is great for skin health. So that's a good one. That should be part of the regular routine anyway. But big picture with eczema, that's a certain strain of Epstein-Barr in the liver feeding on toxins like toxic copper. So again, it gets back to supporting your immune system, lowering the viral load, cleansing out toxins, supporting your liver. So I think you were looking for more of like an acute fix here. I don't think there is a good one, honestly. But long-term, there's a ton you can do to heal eczema. People do it all the time. Is colostrum good for you? No, it is very, very bad for you. Very bad. It is a dairy product. And all dairy products feed bad bacteria and viruses like Epstein-Barr. So this will make you sicker. This will make you worse. Maybe not right away. This is always a problem. Always a problem. I would never recommend anyone with chronic health issues take colostrum. Yeah. It's not the answer. It's never going to be the answer. What other supplements do I need besides my multivitamin? Okay, so bad news on the multivitamin. They're all garbage. They're not giving you any amount of significant protection or benefit. Even the clean one, even the expensive fancy ones, all garbage. You're not going to get any significant amount of any of these things when you try to cram all these things into one capsule. Rule of thumb is you want like 5 or less main ingredients in a supplement. That's why you'll see Vimergy. A lot of them are, this is just lemon balm. And yeah, it's got some vegetable glycerin in there. But like the main ingredient, it's lemon balm. It's not lemon balm plus this random herb and 20 other random herbs crammed into one thing. That's not how the body likes things. That's not how it's going to work. So forget about the multivitamin. And especially if you're getting like kind of one of those more mass-produced, mass-marketed ones, those have junk in them. You're much better off not taking that whatsoever, to be quite honest with you. So again, it gets back to the top 3/6-ish supplements: B12, zinc, micro C, and then spirulina, barley grass juice powder, and Atlantic dulse. Those should be in the daily rotation. What supplement for weight loss? I put lemon verbena up here, but that alone is not going to do anything. I don't think it's not going to do much. But if you're doing the right things with food, and then you want to add in some lemon verbena, that could be magical. Yeah. But for weight loss, it's all about the liver and taking the load off the liver. And the way you primarily are going to do that is through food, lowering your fat intake to let your liver breathe and let your liver start to be able to process toxins and fats again. If you're taking a supplement and you're not doing the right things with food and you're seeing weight loss, that thing is bad for you. Like you're on some new age fen if that's happening. You gotta get the right food part. And it's by the way, that doesn't mean restricting calories, because that's not good. That's going to backfire into a yo-yo weight loss, weight gain situation too. Everything we're talking about, like at some point, hopefully you're going to come to the realization that you just need to do the work with the food, and then you're going to join a great program like mine where you learn how to do the right things with food so that you can get long-term sustainable results. Which supplements do you use or recommend for kids' daily use? Same ones for adults. Same ones for adults. Once they're like, past that infant stage, for sure, they can use a lot of the same ones. Now, obviously, are they going to take the same amounts that adults do? No, not at all. And I'm not about to try to give you kids dosages here on this video. It's going to be different. They're going to be like adults. There can be some phases where maybe they need some more of a certain supplement and then they need to back off. If you're smart about it, you're going to be able to figure this out. But yeah, B12, zinc, vitamin C, heavy metal detox, those are all very good for kids. What's a good omega-3? So As long as it's not coming from a fish or a seafood source, that is a step in the right direction. We have to remember that so another like two things can be true at the same time. Like, yeah, omega-3s do have health benefits. Are they going to be the big needle mover for most of our chronic health issues? No. I don't really recommend omega-3s that often. And if you're getting it from some seafood source, that's just the worst way to get them. Because let's say you're taking cod liver oil, the good part of the oil has nothing to do with the fish. They're getting that from an algae. So number one, you want to start with a plant-based algae. Vimergy has the best one. But when you take it from a seafood source like that, you're getting all the toxins, all the heavy metals that were in that fish. It's not like they're filleting the piece of the cod that you're picturing is that you buy at the grocery store and they're squeezing that into the oil. They're using all the throwaway parts of the fish to squeeze that in there. And it doesn't matter, by the way, even if they say like we've removed, 99.9 or we've removed all toxins, mercury, whatever. There's always a small amount remaining in there, and it can turn into like a homeopathic dose. You don't want to be messing with that. There's all sorts of dioxins. There's all sorts of junk in there. There's no need to get it from a seafood source. You can get it from a plant-based source, the same exact benefits, none of the downside. Thoughts on quercetin, NAC, cat's claw, L-lysine. Two of those I love and use all the time. Cat's claw and L-lysine, great antivirals, both of them. Cat's claw is a great antibacterial as well. Those are huge. Those are great, wonderful. I mean, dare I say, life-saving supplements. Quercetin as a supplement, garbage, inactivated, not doing much of anything for you. You got to get quercetin in like its complete activated form. So if you're looking at like a pill or a powder or something and it lists quercetin, it's not doing anything for you. You have to get it as part of a whole food. Like red apples they're a great source of quercetin. Nettle, so you can get an herbal supplement tincture extract of nettle that has that activated quercetin in it that can be really helpful. NAC, generally overhyped, can be useful for sure. I mean, during the last 5 years with everything that happened, it came on strong again. I think but overhyped. Glutathione is going to be more useful in that category than NAC. Again, it's not going to save you. Can be useful though. Best 3 supplements, we've covered this. B12 in order. I'm naming my favorite kids. Which kids are my favorite? B12, zinc, vitamin C. Those will serve you well. Best supplement for viruses. Oh my God, you have to pick just one? There's so many. But if we do have to pick just one, we're going to say zinc. We're going to say zinc is the best supplement to fight viruses. It paralyzes them. It kind of stops them in their track from all of their activity. It slows them down. Plus, it helps to strengthen your immune cells, your white blood cells, which we obviously need strong to go in there because that's what goes in and that's what actually attacks the virus and starts to break it down and kill it off. And a big reason why there's such a viral epidemic, chronic low-grade viral, mostly Epstein-Barr epidemic in this world right now is because nearly everyone is depleted in zinc. So the zinc in the soil it's been known for decades that's been declining, going down. It's just not there. And that has to do with toxins that fall from the sky. and they interact in the soil and they neutralize and deplete the zinc. So that alone can lead to a weaker defense system, weaker immune system that allows these hidden infections to take hold, these viruses to take hold. So we're going to choose zinc here, but all herbs have good antiviral properties. Zinc is the big one. Is slippery elm good for viruses? No. What's the go-to for strep in the liver? So streptococcus bacteria, this is a big troublemaker. So people who have sinus issues, most gut issues are from strep bacteria. Acne is from strep. If you have UTIs, bladder infections, anything in that yeast category, candida, that's actually coming from strep most of the time. So strep is a huge issue, and that is the superbug. It's much more of a problem than like MRSA. It has mutated a ton due to the heavy antibiotic use that everyone was subjected to in the past however many decades. So that's a big problem for a lot of people. And it's a co-infection with Epstein-Barr. So it means the more that Epstein-Barr is active, the more likely it is that you're going to find some pockets of strep hanging out in there. And strep can be anywhere in the body. And there are more strains of it than the medical system can even keep up with. So it's not like you can just go in and say, let me get a test for strep. You can't. None of these tests for any of these pathogens, shingles, Epstein-Barr, any pathogen, none of them are good. They're all like ancient. No, that's so far behind. But nice thing about strep for peace of mind is if you do enough of the right things for long enough, you can get rid of all of it from the body. It is easier to pick back up. You can touch something, a grocery cart handle or something, and if you touch your face, you can reinfect yourself with strep. So you have to watch out for that. But go-to supplement, Golden Seal. Golden Seal. Love Golden Seal against strep. These pathogens, they cannot become resistant to natural herbs and supplements like they can to these pharmaceuticals. So Golden Seal, that's my favorite. What to do for better absorption of supplements? We talked about this earlier. Take them with sugar and away from fat. So let's say you're doing some deeper cleanse work and you're just not eating any fat. You're not eating any protein because you're doing some deeper cleansing for a period of time. We can assume that you're automatically going to have better absorption and utilization of those supplements than you were when you were kind of bringing in some fats for your regular day previously. So healthy sugars, less fat equals better absorption. That's the math formula for today. I was a mathlete in high school. I was a mathlete. I love math. All right, NAD or NAC, neither. Trendy right now. They'll fall to the wayside eventually. They're not healing anyone. NAC can be useful. They're just not it. Are tinctures still effective if you add them into your tea, or is there a better way? So if I'm understanding this correctly, you're asking if I have a hot cup of herbal tea, not matcha tea, not green tea, not black tea, because those all have caffeine. That's going to mess up the effects of these tinctures. But if it's just a cup of herbal tea, and you're asking, can I take like a tincture of my lemon balm or my licorice root or whatever and drop it in there? Yeah, that's totally fine. You can definitely do that, and they're still going to be effective. The only better way, I'd say add some raw honey to it so you get some natural sugars in there for better absorption like we've been talking about. Yeah. Best multivitamin, spirulina. I forgot to mention this on that previous question where we talked about something about the multivitamin, But if you actually want something that behaves as a multivitamin, spirulina. That has the biggest array, has the biggest nutrient profile. And you might look at it and be like, oh my God, like it's just got such a small amount of all these things. It's in a highly absorbable form when you get it in a good, high quality spirulina. So, multivitamin, think spirulina. That should be part of the heavy metal detox protocol anyway. So, if you're looking at, there's just not a good one out there. There's not a good, there's just not it's a nice theory, but it doesn't work in the real world. So spirulina is going to be the multivitamin. Best magnesium. I like magnesium glycinate. All around, has a ton of benefits. No drawbacks. We use magnesium glycinate quite a bit. Some of the other forms can be kind of abrasive. The citrate that gets used for to help constipation, that's way too rough. Magnesium glycinate is a wonderful supplement. And look, I mean, that one has a lot of hype around it right now too. So it's one of those nuanced things. Just because something is getting hyped up doesn't necessarily mean it's has no benefit or it's bad, but a lot of them have no benefit and are bad. But magnesium glycinate is getting some appropriate time in the spotlight right now, which is great. All right, cool. Hope you learned a couple of good nuggets in there. I know supplements are such a huge focus for all of us because that's just how it is. Like we want to, it's nice to think that we're going to get some needle movement, maybe without maxing out what we have to do with the food. And supplements are good. And I hope you all get what you want from your supplements at the end of the day. I hope everyone's healthy and happy. But if you're looking for a more comprehensive approach, do click the link in the description beneath this video. Check out the webpage it'll take you to, and you can apply there, and we can just have a conversation and see if you're a fit for the comprehensive work that I do. It's very, very cool, life-changing stuff, and I look forward to talking with you.